The flies found her first. Wade Carver's truck kicked up dust along the county road, heat shimmering off the hood at 3 in the afternoon. The foreman's voice crackled over the radio an hour ago. "Boss, you better get out to the west field. Got a situation." He pulled up to the edge of harvested land and cut the engine. A small girl sat cross-legged in the dirt beside a shape covered in blue plastic tarp. Her hand rested on the edge of it like she was holding someone's hand through a veil she couldn't pull back. Flies circled. The August sun beat down at 110 degrees. She looked up when his boots hit the ground. No tears, just waiting. Wade stopped 10 feet away, hat in hand. Behind him, the sheriff's Bronco idled. The coroner's van sat empty, back doors open. "She ain't moving," the foreman had said on the radio. "The girl, I mean. Body's been there since morning." He'd buried one daughter, wasn't planning on collecting another. Wade walked closer. The sheriff stood off to the side, hat in hand, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Young guy, maybe 30, elected last year, on his daddy's name. "Mr. Carver," he nodded. "Sheriff." Wade kept his eyes on the girl. "How long's she been here?" "Since about 7 this morning. Neighbors found him. Mother collapsed in the field yesterday evening. Heat stroke, coroner thinks. Girl dragged her to the shade, covered her up, been sitting there ever since." Wade crouched down, knees cracking. The girl stared straight ahead. Couldn't be more than 9, maybe 10. Dark hair stuck to her forehead with sweat. Worn-out sneakers, too big t-shirt with a faded cartoon character he didn't recognize. "Hey there," he said quiet. "What's your name?" "Nothing." "I'm Wade. You hurt anywhere?" Her hands stayed on the blue tarp, fingers small and brown against the cheap plastic, corner flapping in the hot wind. "Where's your people?" He tried again. She spoke without looking at him, voice flat, empty. "Right here." Christ. Wade stood, joints protesting, turned to the sheriff. "CPS on the way." 2 hours out, maybe 3. Casper office is slammed. Foster system's full up. Group homes got a waiting list. The sheriff shifted his weight. "Don't know what to do with her in the meantime. Can't leave her here." "No," Wade said. You can't." The coroner approached, clipboard in hand. 60-something. Been doing this job since before Wade bought his first 100 acres. "Mr. Carver, we need to transport the body. Been waiting on the girl to—" "I know what you've been waiting on." Wade looked at the field, the sky, the dirt, looked at the girl who wouldn't move. Saw her profile and his chest locked up tight. Same age Sarah was, same dark hair, same... He made the decision before his brain caught up to his mouth. "I'll take her." The sheriff blinked. "Sir?" "The girl. I'll take her to my place till CPS gets their act together." "Ooh, Carver, I don't think you can just watch me." Wade pulled his wallet out, handed the sheriff a business card. "That's my number. Tell social services where to find her. End of discussion." He walked to the coroner, kept his voice low. "Do what you gotta do. Be respectful." "Always am." Wade turned back to the girl. "Listen here. These men need to take your mama now. You understand?" She didn't move. "They're gonna be real gentle. Gonna take her someplace safe. Someplace cool. You can't stay out here in this heat." Still nothing. "So here's what's happening. You're coming with me. Got a ranch about 15 miles west. Big house. Air conditioning. You can clean up, get some food, rest till the county figures out what's next." The girl's eyes tracked to him for the first time. Dark brown, red-rimmed, old eyes in a kid's face. "I don't know you," she whispered. "No, you don't, but I'm what you got right now." The coroner and his assistant moved in with the gurney. Wade saw it coming. The girl went rigid, then wild. She lunged for the tarp as they lifted it, screaming in Spanish, fighting. The sound cut through the heat like broken glass. Wade caught her around the waist, pulled her back. She was all elbows in rage, kicking at his shins. "Let me go! Suéltame!" "Easy now." He held her, not rough, but firm. The way you hold a colt that's spooked. "Easy." "No, no, no. They're taking care of her. You hear me? Taking care." She collapsed against him, went limp like someone cut her strings, sobbing now, finally, whole body shaking. Wade stood there, holding a stranger's kid in the middle of a field, while they loaded her mother into a county van. The sun burned the back of his neck, his shirt stuck to his spine. When the van pulled away, dust trailing, the girl stopped crying. Just shut it off like a faucet. Wade shifted his grip. "Can you walk?" "Yeah." "Then let's go." She walked beside him to the truck like a ghost. He opened the passenger door. "Get in." She climbed up, pressed herself against the far door. Wade shut it, hard slam that made her flinch, and walked around to the driver's side. Started the engine. Cool air blasted from the vents. He let it run a minute, watching her in his peripheral. She stared out the window at nothing. "You got a name?" he asked again. Long silence, then quiet. Molly. Molly. He put the truck in drive. I'm Wade. You hungry? No. When's the last time you ate? She didn't answer. He headed toward town instead of the ranch. Pulled into Betty's Diner on Main Street, the only place open on a Sunday. Parked in the shade. Come on. And inside, the AC was arctic, and the smell of coffee hit like a wall. 3 other people scattered in booths. Betty looked up from behind the counter, saw Wade, then saw the girl. Her face changed. Oh my God. She came around the counter fast. Oh, honey. Oh, no. Wade's stomach dropped. You know her? That's Rose's girl. Betty crouched down, eyes wet. Molly, baby, I'm so sorry. Your mama... Her voice cracked. Your mama was a good woman. Molly stood there, dead-eyed. Rosa worked the fields, Betty said to Wade. Harvest season, pruning, whatever needed doing. Been in town maybe 2 years. Quiet. Kept to herself mostly. She straightened up, wiping her eyes. She came in here sometimes, just for water. Never bought nothing, but I'd slip Molly a piece of pie when I could. Wade felt something cold settle in his gut. She lived here? In Elkhorn? Trailer park out on Route 12. Her and Molly. 2 years. This woman and her kid lived in his town for 2 years, worked his neighbor's fields, and he never knew her name. Never even saw her. Betty guided Molly to a booth, brought her a glass of milk and a grilled cheese without asking. Molly didn't touch it. Wade sat across from her, looked at this kid, Rose's kid, and felt the weight of it. Not just her mother dying, but the fact that she'd been invisible until she wasn't. Until she was sitting in a field with flies and heat and nobody coming. Betty leaned against the counter, arms crossed. What's going to happen to her? Social services is working on it, Wade said. Until then, she's with me. Betty's eyebrows went up, but she didn't argue, just nodded slow. You need anything, you call, anything at all. Wade stood, pulled out his wallet, left 2 20s on the table. Molly, time to go. She slid out of this booth, left the food untouched. In the truck, silence. He drove west toward the ranch, past the turnoff to the trailer park. Saw the rusted sign, the rows of sun-bleached metal boxes baking in the heat. Didn't stop, couldn't. You got any other family? He asked. Grandparents? Aunts or uncles? No. Your daddy? Gone before I was born. Wade's hands tightened on the wheel. 5 minutes later, the ranch opened up ahead, 4,000 acres of grassland, fence lines stretching to the horizon. The house sat back from the road, 2 stories, white paint, black shutters. Too big for one man. Been too big for 15 years. He pulled into the drive, killed the engine. Here's the deal, he said. You're going to stay here till they find you a proper place. Could be a day, could be a week. You'll have a room, 3 meals, bathroom's yours. Rules are simple. Don't run off, don't break nothing, and if you need something, ask. Molly stared at this house like it was a museum. Understand? Yeah. Good. End of discussion. He got out, and after a beat, she followed. The house was too big for one man and too small for 2 strangers. Frank Hoskins was in the kitchen when they walked in, drinking coffee at the counter. He looked up, saw Molly, and his weathered face went soft. Well, hey there. He set his mug down. Who's this? Molly, Wade said. She's staying a while. Molly, this is Frank. He runs the ranch. Frank wiped his hand on his jeans before offering it. Pleased to meet you, miss. Molly stared at the hand like it might bite. Didn't take it. Frank pulled back easy, no offense taken. You like horses? Don't touch me. The room went still. Wade caught Frank's eye, shook his head once. Leave it. All right then, Frank said quiet. You need anything? You just holler. I'll be around. He grabbed his hat off the hook and headed out the back door. Through the window, Wade watched him cross the yard toward the barn, boots kicking up dust. Molly stood in the middle of the kitchen, arms crossed, tight around herself, looking at the granite countertops, the stainless appliances, the windows that went floor to ceiling, like she'd walked into a stranger's dream. Come on, Wade said. I'll show you your room. He led her upstairs, boots heavy on the hardwood. Second door on the left. He opened it and stepped back. White walls, double bed with a blue quilt, dresser, closet, desk under the window. View of the east pasture and the mountains beyond. Clean, empty, waiting. Bathroom's through there. As he pointed. Towels in the cabinet. Dresser's got clothes, belong to someone else, but they'll fit near enough till we get you something proper. Molly walked in slow, touched nothing. Belong to who? She asked. Wade's throat closed up. My daughter. Where is she? Gone. Molly turned, looked at him straight. Gone like dead or gone like left? Dead. She nodded once, didn't say sorry, just filed it away. How old was she? 9. The word came out rough. Molly looked at the room again. At the desk, the quilt, the emptiness that had been sitting here for 15 years. How long ago? Long enough. She sat on the edge of the bed, careful, testing it. What was her name? Wade's hand gripped the doorframe. Sarah. Okay, that was it. No more questions. Like, she understood there were some things you didn't push. He cleared his throat. I'll let you get cleaned up. Dinner's at 6. Come down when you're ready. I ain't hungry. Come down anyway. He pulled the door shut, stood in the hallway, heard nothing from inside. No crying, no movement, just silence. Downstairs, Frank was back at the counter. Boss, he said quiet. What the hell are you doing? Wade poured himself coffee. What needed doing? You can't just take in a strange kid because what? Because it's complicated? Because people might talk? Wade turned. Her mama died in a field, and she sat there for 6 hours in 100-degree heat because nobody knew what to do with her. Foster system's full, group homes are full, so yeah, she's here till they figure something out. Frank studied him. That the only reason? What's that supposed to mean? Means she's 9 years old, Wade. Same age Sarah was. I know how old she is. Do you? Frank set his mug down hard. Or do you just see what you want to see? Wade's jaw clenched. Watch it. Someone's got to say it. You've been locked up in this place for 15 years, working yourself half to death so you don't have to feel nothing. Now this girl shows up and she's the right age, right size, and you think, what? That you can fix something? I ain't trying to fix anything. Then what are you trying to do? Wade stared into his coffee. Didn't have an answer. Frank sighed, softened. Look, I get it, I do. But that girl upstairs, she ain't Sarah. And you can't bring Sarah back by saving someone else. I know that. Do you? Wade didn't answer. Frank grabbed his hat. I'm heading out to check the south fence. You need me, radio. He stopped at the door. And Wade, be careful. That kid's already lost everything. Don't make it worse by wanting something she can't give. The door shut. Wade stood alone in his kitchen, coffee going cold in his hand. Upstairs, Molly sat on Sarah's bed and didn't move for an hour. The room smelled like dust and old soap. The closet still had clothes in it, t-shirts, jeans, a sundress with flowers. All too small for a grown woman, frozen in time for a 9-year-old who'd never gotten older. Molly opened the dresser, shirts folded neat, shorts, socks still in plastic packages. She pulled out a clean t-shirt and a pair of shorts, set them on the bed, went to the bathroom. Shower with glass doors and one of those rain shower heads. Took her 20 seconds to figure out how to turn it on. The water came out hot. Molly stood under it until steam filled the room and her skin turned pink. Washed her hair with shampoo that smelled like apples. Watched the dirt swirl down the drain. 2 days of field dust and sweat and her mama's blood on her hands from trying to wake her up. She scrubbed until her hands were raw. Got dressed in Sarah's clothes. They fit perfect. That felt wrong, but she didn't know why. Looked in the mirror. Same dark hair, still wet. Same brown eyes. Different kid wearing a dead girl's shirt. She went back to the bedroom, sat on the bed, and waited. At 6, Wade knocked. Dinner. She came down. Frank was already at the table, plate loaded with pot roast, potatoes, green beans. Wade had set 3 places. Molly sat, stared at the food. Go ahead, Wade said. Help yourself. She didn't move. Frank passed her the potatoes. You like gravy? I guess. Well, here you go. He spooned some onto her plate without asking. Added a slice of roast, some beans. Molly looked at the pile of food like it was evidence. Something wrong? Wade asked. We don't take what we can't pay back. Silence dropped like a stone. Wade set his fork down. It ain't a transaction, it's dinner. Still feels wrong. Feeling wrong and being wrong ain't the same thing. He picked his fork back up. Now eat before it gets cold. She ate. Slow at first, then faster. Like she'd forgotten what hunger felt like until food was in front of her. Halfway through, she caught herself, slowed down. Embarrassed, Frank pretended not to notice. Good batch, huh, boss? Been simmering since noon. Not bad, Wade said. Not bad. Frank grinned at Molly. Man's been making the same 3 meals for 15 years and still won't admit when something turns out right. Molly almost smiled. Almost. After dinner, Molly helped clear plates without being asked. Scraped, rinsed, stacked them by the sink. Movements, automatic, practiced. Kid who'd done dishes her whole life. Wade washed. She dried. Didn't talk. When they finished, she stood there, uncertain. You can watch TV if you want, Wade said. Living room's through there, or go on up to bed. Your choice. What time you get up? 5:15. She nodded. Okay. You don't have to get up that early. Sleep in. I ain't tired. But she went upstairs anyway. Wade heard the door close, soft. Frank leaned against the counter. She's a tough one. Yeah. Gonna take time. I know. You got time? Wade hung the dish towel on the oven handle. Don't know yet. That night, Wade couldn't sleep. Went downstairs at 2 a.m., made coffee he didn't want. Stood at the kitchen window looking at nothing. Heard footsteps on the stairs, soft, hesitant. Molly appeared in the doorway, Sarah's pajamas hanging loose on her thin frame. Can't sleep? Wade asked. Room's too quiet. Yeah, it is. She came closer, stood on the other side of the counter. Didn't sit. Where I lived before, she said. You could hear everything. Trucks on the highway. People yelling. TV through the walls. Trailer park. Yeah. How long you and your mama lived there? 2 years. Before that, other places. We moved a lot. Wade poured himself coffee. You want some milk? She nodded. He poured it, slid the glass across. She wrapped both hands around it but didn't drink. Your mama? Wade said, careful. She have people you could go to, back where you came from? No. Well, nobody at all? Just us. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, coyotes yipped in the distance. What's going to happen to me? Molly asked, voice small. Don't know yet. Social worker's supposed to call tomorrow. We'll figure it out. You going to send me away? To somewhere you'll be taken care of proper, with people who know what they're doing. You don't? No, Wade said honest. I don't. She drank the milk, set the glass down quiet. I can work. I'm good at cleaning. I can cook some. Mama taught me. You're 9 years old. So, I can still help. That ain't how this works. Then how's it work? Wade didn't have an answer. Stood there in his kitchen at 2 a.m. with a kid who thought she had to earn her keep just to exist. Go on back to bed, he said finally. We'll talk more tomorrow. She turned to go, stopped. The clothes in that room, your daughter's. You want me to not wear them? I got what I had on when you found me. I can wash those. No, Wade said, softer than he meant to. Wear whatever fits. It's fine. You sure? I'm sure. She went upstairs. Wade stayed in the kitchen till sunrise, coffee going cold. The next afternoon, Wade was fixing a fence post when he saw her, walking across the yard toward the barn, moving slow, looking around like she was trespassing. He watched from a distance. She found the blue tarp in the bed of his truck, stood there staring at it. He'd meant to throw it out, couldn't make himself do it. She reached in, pulled it out, thin cheap plastic, corner torn, still dusty from the field, carried it to the barn. Wade waited 10 minutes, then followed. Found her in the back corner, near the hay bales. She'd spread the tarp over the top, weighed down the edges with bricks, made a little shelter, space just big enough for her to sit under. She was inside it now, knees pulled up, arms wrapped around them, not crying, just sitting. Wade stood in the barn door, watching. The tarp that had covered her mother's body was now a roof over her head. Death turned into shelter. Something about that gutted him. He walked away, left her alone with her grief in her blue plastic sky. Didn't mention it at dinner, didn't ask her to take it down, just let it be. That night, before bed, he stood outside Sarah's door, put his hand on the wood. Hadn't opened it in 15 years. Couldn't make himself do it now. But knowing Molly was in there, breathing that same air, sleeping in that same bed, it felt like the house was waking up, and he didn't know if that was healing or haunting. She asked about the closed door on the third day. Wade was at the kitchen counter at 5:15, same as always. Coffee brewing, sky still dark outside. Heard the soft pad of feet on the stairs. Molly appeared in the doorway. Hair sticking up on one side, eyes still heavy with sleep. Sarah's pajamas, purple with little stars. Morning, Wade said. She nodded, came closer. He poured milk without asking, slid it across the counter. This time she picked it up, drank half of it. Progress. You sleep okay? He asked. Better. Good. She finished the milk, set the glass down. There's a door, upstairs, stays closed. Wade's hand tightened on his mug. Yeah. How come? Just does. Is it Sarah's? He looked at her straight. The room you're in is Sarah's. Molly's face changed. Oh, the closed one's just storage. It wasn't. It was Sarah's real room, the one she'd lived in, played in, died in. The guest room had been for show, for sleepovers, but Wade couldn't tell a 9-year-old. She was sleeping in the spare, while the actual shrine sat locked down. The hall. Molly didn't push, just nodded like she understood there were things you don't touch. You want some breakfast? Wade asked. Okay. He made eggs. She sat at the counter and watched him crack them into the pan, add salt, pepper. Cooked them scrambled, the way Sarah used to like them. They ate in silence. Comfortable now, not tense. When Frank showed up, Molly didn't flinch away. Morning, little miss. Morning. Sleep all right? Yeah. Frank grinned at Wade. She's getting used to us. Don't push it, Wade muttered. After breakfast, Wade headed out to check on the horses. Molly followed at a distance, like she had the past 2 days, shadow with legs. At the stable, he stopped. You coming in or just going to stand there? She stepped closer, cautious. Come on, someone I want you to meet. Inside, the smell of hay and leather and animal warmth. 6 stalls, 5 horses. Wade walked to the third one, a gray mare with gentle eyes. This is Ash. She's old, patient, don't spook easy. The horse turned her head, huffed soft. Molly stayed back 5 feet. She ain't gonna hurt you, Wade said. Just scared, like you. I ain't scared. Sure you are. That's all right. He pulled a carrot from his pocket, held it out flat on his palm. Ash took it delicate. See? Just needed someone to go slow. Molly watched, took a step closer. You can touch her if you want. Right here. He tapped the mare's neck. She likes it. Molly reached out, fingertips brushed the gray coat, pulled back quick. Ash didn't move, just blinked slow. Try again, Wade said. Felt longer this time. Molly put her whole palm on the horse's neck, felt the warmth, the muscles underneath. Something in her face softened. She's soft. Yeah, softest one we got. Wade stepped back, gave them space. You can come out here anytime. She don't mind company. Molly kept her hand on Ash's neck. Didn't look at Wade when she asked, Why'd you take me? There it was, the question he'd been waiting for. Didn't seem right to leave you there. Lots of things ain't right. Most people don't do nothing about it. Fair point. Your mama, Wade said careful. She was a good woman? Molly's hand stilled on the horse. Best there was. I'm sorry. She turned, looked at him direct. Sorry, don't bring nobody back. The words hit like a fist to the chest. Simple, true, devastating. No, Wade said quiet. It don't. Molly went back to petting the horse. Mama said rich people don't do nothing for free. Said they always want something. Your mama was probably right about most of them. What about you? What about me? What do you want? Wade leaned against the stall door. Thought about lying. Couldn't do it. Not to her. Don't rightly know, he said honest. Saw you sitting there in that field, and I couldn't leave you. Didn't think about it. Just knew I couldn't. 'Cause I look like her? Christ. Kid didn't miss anything. Maybe, he admitted. Some. That why you gave me her room? Her clothes? I gave you what I had. You got a whole house. You gave me her room. Wade rubbed his face. You want a different one? I got 3 more. No. Quick. Almost offensive. I like it. Then what's the problem? I don't know. She turned back to Ash, frustrated. Feels like I'm supposed to be someone I ain't. You're supposed to be you, that's all. Yeah, but who's that? Her voice cracked. I was Rose's kid. Now she's gone. And I don't even know. Wade's chest ached. You're Molly. That's enough. She didn't answer, just pressed her forehead against the horse's neck. Wade let her stand there. Didn't rush her. When she finally stepped back, her eyes were wet, but she wasn't crying. Can I come see her tomorrow? Molly asked. Ash, yeah, anytime. Okay. They walked back to the house in silence. At the porch steps, Molly stopped. Wade? Yeah, thanks. For the horse, I mean. You're welcome, kid. She went inside. Wade stayed on the porch, watched the sun climb higher. Frank appeared from around the corner, coffee in hand. She's softening. Little bit. You are too. Wade shot him a look. Don't start. Just saying. Seen you smile more in 3 days than I have in 3 years. Frank, I know. End of discussion. Frank grinned. But it's true. That evening, Wade's cell phone rang. Number he didn't recognize. Carver? Mr. Carver, this is Diane Mercer with Child Protective Services. His stomach dropped. Yeah. I wanted to follow up regarding Molly Reyes. I understand she's been staying with you since Sunday? That's right. I appreciate you stepping in during an emergency situation. However, I've been reviewing the case, and I have some concerns. Wade walked to his office, shut the door. What kind of concerns? You're not a licensed foster parent. You have no training in child welfare or trauma care. And from what I understand, you're a 58-year-old single man who hasn't had a child in his home for over a decade. 15 years? Exactly. Miss Carver, I'm not questioning your intentions, but this is an unusual arrangement. I need to conduct a home visit, an assessment. When? End of the week. Friday morning, if that works. Wade looked out the window, saw Molly sitting on the porch steps looking at the sunset. Friday's fine. Good. And, Mr. Carver, I've found a potential placement for Molly, a foster family in Sheridan. Young couple, experienced, already licensed. If everything goes well, we may be able to facilitate a transfer within the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Understood, Wade said. I'll see you Friday. The line went dead. Wade stood there, phone in hand, watching Molly through the window. She looked small on those steps, small and alone. He went to the kitchen, found her at the table when he came back. She was drawing something on a piece of scrap paper, looked up when he sat down. Who was that? Social worker. Molly's face went careful. What did she say? She's coming Friday. Wants to check on you, make sure you're all right. And then what? Then we'll see. Molly looked back at her drawing. House with a barn, horse in a field, simple kid lines. I like it here, she said quiet. Wade's throat closed up. Yeah? Yeah. She didn't look up. It's quiet. And Ash is nice. And Frank makes me laugh. What about me? She glanced up, almost smiled. You're okay, I guess. High praise. This time she did smile. Small, quick, gone in a second. But real. Wade felt something crack open in his chest. Something that had been sealed shut for 15 years. Go on up to bed, he said. It's late. Okay. She stood, took her drawing with her, stopped in the doorway. Wade? Yeah, kid. Don't let her take me somewhere bad? I won't. She nodded and went upstairs. Wade sat alone at the kitchen table and wondered what the hell he was doing and whether he had any right to do it. But when he went to bed that night, he heard soft footsteps in the hall, saw light under Sarah's door, heard Molly talking quiet, maybe to herself, maybe to her mama, maybe to the ghost in the walls. And for the first time in 15 years, his house didn't feel like a tomb. The social worker had kind eyes and a court order. Diane Mercer pulled up Friday morning at 9 sharp, sensible sedan, briefcase, cardigan despite the heat. Wade met her on the porch. Mr. Carver. She offered her hand. Firm shake, professional smile. Thank you for making time. Ma'am. She looked past him at the house. Quite a place. It's home. May I come in? He led her to the kitchen, poured coffee she didn't touch. Molly was in the barn with Frank, staying out of the way like Wade had asked. Diane pulled out a folder, clicked her pin. I've been reviewing the situation. You took in Molly Reyes 4 days ago following her mother's death. That's right. And you have no prior relationship with the family? No. No foster care training or certification? No. Your own daughter passed away 15 years ago. Is that correct? Wade's jaw tightened. What's that got to do with anything? Diane's expression stayed neutral. Kind, but firm. Bro, Carver, I've been doing this job for 20 years. I've seen a lot of good people try to help in ways that end up causing harm. I ain't causing any harm. Not intentionally. She leaned forward slightly. But I need you to be honest with yourself about why you're doing this. I'm doing it because a kid needed help. A 9-year-old girl, same age your daughter was when she died. The words landed like stones. You think I don't see that? Wade asked, voice tight. I think you see it very clearly. That's what concerns me. Diane set her pen down. You've had no children in your home for 15 years. By all accounts, from neighbors, you've been isolated, emotionally withdrawn. You built an empire, but you live alone in it. Then this girl appears, same age as Sarah, in desperate need, and suddenly you're playing father again. I ain't playing anything. Then what are you doing? Her voice stayed gentle, damning in its kindness. Are you helping her, Mr. Carver, or are you trying to get back something you lost? Wade stood. I think we're done here. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to protect that child. Diane stood too. I've found a placement for her. Good people. Young couple in Sheridan, licensed foster parents with experience in trauma care. They can provide structure, therapy, a nurturing environment. She's got that here. Does she? Or does she have a wealthy stranger using her as a guilt project? The silence rang. Diane softened. I know you couldn't save your daughter, and I know you can't replace her with someone else's child. Get out. Mr. Carver, I said, get out. She gathered her things, walked to the door, stopped. I'm not the enemy here. I'm trying to do what's best for Molly. The transfer will happen next Friday. 1 week. Use that time to prepare her. The door closed behind her. Wade stood in his kitchen, hands shaking. Didn't know Molly had been listening from the barn doorway. He found her gone an hour later. Checked the house, the barn, the stables. Ash was there. Molly wasn't. His truck sat in the drive. Key still in it, but the blue tarp was gone from the bed. Frank! And the foreman came running. What's wrong? Molly's gone. They searched the property. Found her footprints heading east toward the road. Wade grabbed his keys, drove. Found her a mile down Route 12, walking in the dust with the blue tarp dragged behind her like a cape. He pulled alongside. Molly, get in the truck. She kept walking. It's 95 degrees out here. Don't care. Wade stopped the truck, got out, followed on foot. Where you think you're going? She spun around, eyes blazing. Anywhere that ain't here. Just stop and talk to me. No, her voice cracked. I heard what she said. I heard all of it. Wade's stomach dropped. Molly, I ain't your kid. She was shaking, crying now, angry tears. You don't get to tell me what to do. You don't get to pretend I'm her. I ain't pretending anything. Liar. She threw the tarp at him. You see her every time you look at me. You gave me her room, her clothes, her horse. You're using me to make yourself feel better about letting her die. The words hit like bullets. That ain't true, Wade said. Yes, it is. That lady was right. I'm just your guilt project. You couldn't save Sarah, so you grabbed me off a field like some stray dog, thinking if you save me, it'll make up for her. Well, I ain't her. And you ain't my papa. So just take me to wherever they're sending me and leave me alone. Wade stood there, gut punched. You done? Yeah. Good. Now listen. His voice was rough. You're right. I see Sarah when I look at you. Can't help it. You're the same age, same size, same... He stopped, breathed. But that ain't why I took you. I took you because I saw a kid sitting in a field with flies buzzing around her dead mama, and I knew what it felt like to lose everything, to be so goddamn alone, you can't even cry anymore. And I thought, his voice broke. I thought maybe if I helped you, I could remember what it felt like to be human again instead of just rich and empty and half dead. Molly stared at him. So yeah, Wade said, maybe it is selfish. Maybe I do need you more than you need me. But don't stand there and tell me I'm trying to replace her. I can't replace Sarah. Nobody can. She's gone. Been gone 15 years. And you, he looked at her straight, you ain't a replacement. You're just a scared kid who deserves better than this world's given you. And I'm a broken old man who don't know how to fix nothing, including myself. Silence. Just wind and heat and dust. Molly's anger drained, left her small. She's really sending me away? Yeah. Next Friday? Yeah. She picked up the tarp, held it against her chest. I thought maybe I could stay. I know, but I can't. No. She walked to the truck, opened the door herself, got in. Wade climbed in the driver's side, started the engine. Molly slammed her door, hard, violent. Echo number 2. They drove back in silence. When they got home, she went straight to the barn, to her little shelter, crawled under the blue tarp and stayed there. Wade watched from the house. The tarp wasn't hope anymore. It was just plastic covering pain. The empty room stayed empty for 3 more days. Molly wouldn't come out. Stayed in the barn, under that blue tarp, like she was guarding her mother's body all over again. Wade left food outside the barn door. Came back hours later to find it untouched. Frank tried. Molly, honey, you gotta eat something? Silence. Come on now, just come inside. Talk to Wade. Y'all can work this out. Nothing. Frank looked at Wade. Boss, you gotta do something. Like what? Drag her out? Talk to her. And say what? The truth, you damn fool. Wade stood outside the barn, put his hand on the door, couldn't make himself go in. At night, he'd see the glow of her flashlight through the cracks. Hear her crying sometimes, soft. But when morning came, she'd gone quiet again. On Tuesday, Diane called. Mr. Carver, I wanted to give you an update. The Richardsons, the couple in Sheridan, they're ready for Molly this Friday. I'll be there at 9 to facilitate the transfer. Wade gripped the phone. When? This Friday. 3 days. She ain't talking to me. I'm sorry to hear that. But the placement is moving forward regardless. Please have her ready. The line went dead. Wade stood in his kitchen, too big, too quiet, already feeling empty again. He told Molly through the barn door that night, You're leaving Friday. They'll take good care of you. Long silence. Then, good. Yeah, good. He walked back to the house, and for the first time in 15 years, he went to his room, sat on the edge of his bed, and put his head in his hands. Wednesday night, 2 a.m. Wade couldn't sleep. Went to the kitchen for coffee he didn't want. Found Molly there, packing crackers into a plastic bag. What are you doing? He asked. She jumped, turned. Leaving, tonight, before Friday. It's midnight. Where are you going to go? Anywhere that ain't here. Molly. No. She backed up. I'm done. I'm not waiting around for you to get tired of me. I ain't tired of you. You're sending me away. Because that's what's best. For who? Her voice cracked. For you? So you don't have to feel bad about using me to fix yourself? That ain't... Why you gotta run? Wade's voice rose. Why can't you just stay and talk? 'Cause I know how this ends. She was crying now, finally. Everybody leaves. Papa left before I was born. Mama died and left me, and you're gonna send me away, 'cause that lady's right. I'm just your guilt project, and once you realize I can't make you feel better about her, you're done. Better to leave first. Wade knelt down, eye level. You want to know the truth? She nodded, tears streaming. That door upstairs, the one that stays closed. That was Sarah's real room, where she lived, where she died. His voice was rough. Leukemia. Took 2 years. I watched her fade, and I couldn't do nothing. Spent every dollar I had on doctors, treatments. Nothing worked. Molly stood frozen. And when she finally... He stopped, breathed. When it was over, I couldn't go in that room. Couldn't touch her things. Couldn't feel nothing, because if I did, I'd break. So I worked, made money, stayed numb for 15 years. And then I saw you, Wade continued, sitting in that field. And you looked just like her, and I thought maybe I could... But that social worker's right. I can't replace Sarah, and I ain't trying to. He looked up at her. You ain't a guilt project, Molly. You're a scared little girl who deserves better than what this world's given you. And I'm a broken old man who don't know how to fix nothing. Not Sarah, not you, not myself. Silence hung between them. You couldn't save her, Molly whispered. No, that ain't your fault. Wade's eyes burned. Feels like it is. Molly wiped her face, voice small. Feels like it's my fault Mama died too. 'Cause if I wasn't born, she wouldn't have had to work so hard. That ain't true. Feels like it is. The words hung in the air. Shared guilt, shared pain. Two people bleeding from wounds they didn't cause but couldn't stop carrying. Wade opened his hand. Molly looked at it. Then slowly, carefully, she put her hand in his. They sat on the kitchen floor at 2 a.m, holding on while the house settled around them. I'm still going Friday, she said finally. I know, but I don't want to. I know that too. Her hand squeezed his. Can I stay till then? Here, not in the barn. Yeah, kid, you can stay. She nodded, didn't let go. And for a moment, just a moment, neither of them was alone. He took her to the place he never brought anyone. Thursday morning, 1 day left. Wade woke Molly before dawn. Get dressed, we're going somewhere. She didn't ask where. Just pulled on jeans and Sarah's old windbreaker. They drove in silence, coffee thermos between them, east toward the mountains. Sky bleeding pink and gold. 30 minutes out, Wade turned up a dirt road, climbed a hill that overlooked the valley. At the top, a small cemetery. Maybe 40 graves, white fence, wild grass grown high. He parked, cut the engine. Where are we? Molly asked. Where we say goodbye proper. He got out. She followed. The cemetery was quiet except for wind. Wade walked past headstones, names he knew, families he'd grown up with. Stopped at a grave near the back. Gray marble, simple letters. Sarah Marie Carver, 1976, 1985, beloved daughter, Molly, stood beside him reading. Wade hadn't been here in 5 years, maybe more. Couldn't remember the last time. Hey, baby girl, he said quiet, voice rough. Been a while. The wind answered. He knelt, pulled weeds from around the stone. Hands shaking slightly. Molly watched, didn't speak. There's another one, Wade said. Your mama's. Didn't know she was here till I called around Tuesday. And he stood, walked 15 yards east. Molly followed. County marker, cheap concrete, no flowers. Rosa Maria Reyes, 1958, 1987. Molly stopped, stared. Wade stepped back, gave her space. She knelt slow, put her hand on the marker, same way she'd rested it on the blue tarp that first day, guarding. Mama, she whispered. So quiet, Wade almost didn't hear. Lo siento. I'm so sorry. The wind picked up, carried her words away. Wade stood between the two graves, Sarah to his left, Rosa to his right. 2 daughters, 2 failures. 2 chances he couldn't take back. The sky stretched wide above them, empty, merciless. Molly started praying in Spanish. Same words she'd said in the field, probably. Wade didn't understand them, but he understood grief. When she finished, she stayed kneeling. What do I say? She asked. Whatever you need to. I don't know what I need to. Then just sit with her a while. Molly sat, cross-legged in the grass, hands still on the stone. Wade walked back to Sarah's grave, stood there looking at his daughter's name. I got a question for you, he said to the stone, to the wind, to whatever was left. Was I wrong, taking her in? Silence. Everybody thinks I'm trying to replace you. Maybe they're right. Maybe I saw her and thought... He stopped. I don't know what I thought. The grass whispered. She's leaving tomorrow, going to people who know what they're doing. Good people. He crouched down. But I don't want her to go. And I don't know if that's 'cause I care about her or 'cause I'm just scared of being alone again. And no answer. Never was. Wade stood, walked back to Molly. She was talking to Rosa's grave quiet. in English now. And I'm gonna be okay, Mama, I think. Wade's gonna make sure they send me somewhere good. He promised. Wade's chest tightened. She looked up at him. You talked to yours? Yeah. What did you say? Told her I don't know what I'm doing. What did she say back? Nothing. Dead don't talk. Molly almost smiled. Sad smile. Yeah, they don't. She stood, brushed dirt from her knees. Wade? Yeah, kid. How come you ain't been here to see her? Wade looked at Sarah's headstone. Didn't think I deserved to. That's dumb. Yeah, probably is. They stood between the graves. Wind in the grass, sky going pale blue. You can't bring him back, Molly said. No matter how bad you want to. No, you can't. So what do we do? Wade looked at her. 9 years old, too old for her age, standing in a cemetery, talking about loss, like she'd been doing it her whole life. You don't guard the dead, honey, he said quiet. You guard what they left alive. Molly's face changed, understanding something. What did she leave alive? She asked. You. What did yours leave? Wade thought about it, looked at Sarah's grave, then at Molly. Maybe the chance to do it different this time. Molly nodded, slow. They stood there till the sun was full up. 2 people, 2 graves, one shared understanding. Finally, Wade said, Come on, let's go home. For how long? 1 more day. They walked back to the truck, drove down the hill in silence. But something had shifted, something Wade couldn't name. Tomorrow she'd leave, but today she was still here. And maybe that was enough. The feed store clerk's mouth got him in trouble, but Wade's fist almost made it worse. Thursday afternoon, Wade took Molly into town for school supplies. Might as well send her to Sheridan with something new, something that was hers. Target, then the hardware store for a backpack. Molly picked a blue one. Didn't smile, but held it careful. At the feed store, Wade needed grain. The clerk behind the counter was young, maybe 22, cocky, didn't know when to shut up. Heard you got yourself a house guest, Mr. Carver. Wade set 2 50-pound bags on the counter. Ring me up. Just saying, seems convenient. The kid grinned. Tax write-off. And in a few years, live and help? Wade's hand stopped on his wallet. What did you say? Nothing, man. Just seems like... Frank stepped between them. Kid, you got about 3 seconds to shut your mouth. But Molly was already there, small and fierce. My name's Molly, she said, voice hard. Not house guest. Not a write-off. And he ain't using me for nothing. The clerk's smile faded. Hey, I didn't mean... Yeah, you did. She turned to Wade. Can we go? Wade's fist was clenched so tight his knuckles were white. But he nodded, left cash on the counter, walked out. Outside, Molly stopped him. You were gonna hit him. Yeah. How come you didn't? 'Cause you were watching. Wade looked at her straight. And I ain't gonna teach you that violence solves things. She studied his face. Mama used to say that. La violencia no resuelve nada. Smart woman. Thunder rumbled, sky gone dark purple. Storm finally breaking after 2 weeks of heat. In the truck, first drops hit the windshield. Wade? Molly's voice was small. You really gonna keep me? His hands tightened on the wheel. You're leaving tomorrow, kid. We talked about this. But what if you said no? To that lady? Told her I'm staying? Wade pulled over, rain coming harder now. I can't do that. Why not? 'Cause I'm 58 years old, Molly. I'm alone. I don't know how to raise a kid. I need someone who gives a shit. Her voice cracked. I don't care about therapy or licenses or any of that. I just need... She stopped, tears streaming. I just need to not be alone. Wade's chest cracked open. I know. Then why are you sending me away? 'Cause I'm scared. The truth, raw and terrible. I'm scared I'll fail you like I failed her. That I'll try my best and it won't be enough and you'll end up hurt worse than you already are. What rain hammered the roof. What if it is enough? Molly whispered. What if you're enough? Wade looked at this kid, 9 years old, soaking wet from running through the rain, looking at him like he was the only thing standing between her and drowning. You really want to stay here? He asked. With me? Yeah. Even though I'm broken? Even though I don't know what I'm doing? Yeah. Why? She wiped her eyes. 'Cause you're the first person who didn't leave. You're still here. That's got to count for something. Something in Wade shifted. Something he'd been holding tight for 15 years, finally let go. Okay, he said. Okay, what? Okay, you're staying. Molly stared. Really? Yeah, kid, really. And he put the truck in drive. But we gotta do it right. Legal. I'm calling Diane tonight. Gonna file for guardianship. It'll take time. Paperwork. But I don't care about paperwork. Well, I do, 'cause you ain't going nowhere. She smiled. First real smile he'd seen. Promise? Promise. When they got home, soaked from the dash to the house, Wade stopped at the stairs. Come with me. I led her to the closed door, the one that had stayed locked for 15 years. This was her real room, he said. Where she lived, where it ended. His hand shook on the doorknob. You don't have to, Molly said quiet. Yeah, I do. He opened it. Afternoon light spilled in, pink walls, posters of horses, stuffed animals on the bed, bookshelf full of stories, everything exactly as Sarah left it. Wade stepped inside for the first time since the funeral. I kept it like this, he said. Thought if I touched anything, she'd be gone for real. Molly stood in the doorway. What changed? Wade looked at her. You did. He walked to the bookshelf, pulled down a worn copy of Charlotte's Web. This was her favorite. Read it to her 5 times. Handed it to Molly. It's yours now if you want it. She took the book, held it careful. Can I keep some of her things? Not to be her, just to remember there was someone good here before me. Wade's eyes burned. Yeah, kid, you can do that. Molly looked around the room, at the life, frozen in time. She'd be okay with it? Me being here? Yeah. Wade's voice broke. I think she would. Storm raged outside. Inside, something broke and something healed. Wade closed the door behind them. It would stay open from now on. 3 months later, the tarp finally came clean. September. School started 2 weeks ago. Molly came home with homework and stories about a girl named Emma who sat next to her in math. Wade found her in the yard that Saturday morning, washing the blue tarp in a bucket of soapy water, scrubbing it with a brush, methodical. He walked over. What are you doing? Cleaning it. She didn't look up. Mama would have wanted it clean. You keeping it? For a while. She rinsed it, wrung it out. Then maybe I'll let it go. Wade nodded. That's good, kid. She hung it on the fence to dry in the September sun. Clear sky, air cooling down finally. Summer heat broken. Together they walked back to the house. Monday morning, 5:15. Wade stood at the kitchen counter making coffee same as always. Heard footsteps. Molly appeared, school clothes already on. Hair braided. Betty taught her how. She went straight to the coffee pot, poured him a cup, handed it to him. Thanks, kid. You're welcome. She poured herself milk. They stood at the window, watching dawn come up over the east pasture. Frank arrived, stomped mud off his boots. Y'all gonna stand there all day, or we eating breakfast? Molly grinned. We're eating. She helped Frank with the eggs. Wade set the table. Normal morning, ordinary life. At breakfast, Molly pushed eggs around her plate. Quiet. Something on your mind? Wade asked. She looked up. How come you really took me that day? Wade set his fork down. Thought about it honest. Because I saw you sitting there, he said, and I knew what it felt like to guard something you can't bring back. And I thought maybe if I helped you let go, I could learn to do it too. Did you? Learn? Getting there. Molly nodded, small smile. Me too. They finished breakfast. Frank told a story about a coyote and a fence post that made Molly laugh. Real laugh. The kind that shook her shoulders. Wade watched her, dark hair catching the light, 9 years old, starting to believe she belonged here. She wasn't Sarah, would never be Sarah. She was Molly, tough and scared and brave and healing. And when he looked at her now, he didn't see his daughter's ghost anymore. He just saw this kid. This particular specific, irreplaceable kid. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything.